But graduation comes with several additional things, really. And 10 with all the other rewards that we've been getting. We also get a new base. Remember this place? Sharpedo Bluff? Well, since we can't use our old room at the guild anymore, I think it should be fine for us both to crash at Sharpedo Bluff. I don't really get the whole idea of graduating much yet, but let's keep going as an exploration team like we always have. From now on, this will be our new base. Let's head to the guild and check out the job board and outlaw notice boards for jobs. It's a new beginning for us, after all. From now on, we can save using the beds here. Also, this music. I want to stay silent for a moment so you can enjoy it. It really does sound like the beginning of a new adventure, doesn't it? And while some things have stayed the same, a lot has changed. Now that we've graduated as an exploration team, a lot of new things are open to us. Also, from now on, Teddy Ursa is now Ursaring. Good luck trying to tell the difference between the two. Oh, Casey, Celiana. Jameko, hello. What's up? Well, congratulations on graduating from the guild, for starters. Team Synapse now gets to operate in association with the guild, so your assembly privileges also change. Let the bell ring. A new special service is available. Special service? So, what service is this exactly? To start with, you can change your leader before your team goes to a dungeon. Change the team leader? Yep. Until now, Casey was the one leading your team before, right? Because the guild has given your team affiliate status, you can make any member of Team Synapse the leader before going on a dungeon. In other words, you can assemble a dungeon team from only your recruits. A team made that way will still be officially recognized. Oh, I get it. So if we ever want to, take a vacation or something, we could delegate work. Or otherwise, if we think we're gonna suffer in terms of types for a dungeon, we could send in specialists. Absolutely. Of course, there are dungeons that only the two of you may enter. I hope you'll make use of this new service. Good luck with your work. Remember what Jameko said right there. There are specific dungeons that only Casey and Celiana can enter as the primary leaders of the guild. Those dungeons are viewable now. Introducing Hell itself. Zero Isle. Zero Isle is 4, if not 5, specific mystery dungeons that operate on their own separate rules. We'll be getting into that later. At least for right now. I do want to explain something else. Since we've completed the basic story of Explorers of Sky, we have something available to us. Harder missions. On the bulletin boards, you may see missions that go from E to S. Sure, you might think that S is the most difficult of these missions. It's not. I'm sorry to burst your bubble, but there are 10 other difficulties higher than S. Star difficulties. Some of these star difficulty missions are specifically tied to maps. They have a random chance of spawning from here on out when you decide to go out and do missions. They can just appear on these boards. Each tier of star above S rank is that much harder for a mission. To the point of 9-star missions. 9-star missions are the absolute hardest missions in the game. And they will kick your grass. And then some. Don't die when going on those missions! Like, trust me, they will absolutely wreck your shit. At that, if you ever wanted to go back to the Hidden Land, once you beat the main story, Lapras will appear on the beach, and you could talk to Lapras in order to go over there. Again, it's just so you can explore, and that's about it. Figured I'd mention it. I believe there is one other item that I do need to mention. Pertaining to the dojo. Did it sound like it came from inside the dojo? Let's go in. A giant hole. What happened?
The wall just gave way, and that big hole appeared where it was. Come to think of it, my grandpa mentioned this a long time ago.
Your grandfather?
Yes. See, my grandpa built this dojo originally. That same grandpa told me there was a very dangerous cave here. So dangerous. He had the hole sealed up so no one could get in. I remember now. Back then, he used to tell me about that hole. He'd never once failed to scare me silly. You two, you're not seriously considering going into that hole, are you? Don't do it. Don't even think about it. I can't guarantee you'll come out alive.
Okay, he's just explaining the right-hand rooms. The left-hand rooms within the dojo, this only opens up once you've graduated and beaten the main story. The final maze. Just like Zero Isle, the final maze is an exclusive dungeon that Casey and Celiana are the only ones who can enter. It operates on somewhat similar rules in that you are not allowed to carry any items from your bag, if I remember correctly. At that, your level is also reset to 1. Final Maze and Zero Isle are among the hardest dungeons in Mystery Dungeon, and specifically Zero Isle appears in every single Mystery Dungeon game. Well, Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, rather. Any and all other Sheer and the Wanderer type games do have an equivalent. I believe Sheer and the Wanderer proper just, well, that's the entire game, so yeah, what do you expect? But Nintendo with that, there's also the matter of, I want to say Etria Mystery Dungeon also has its equivalent too. Actually, I did save, right? Just in case. Let me double back, do that again quick. I don't fully remember it. I want to say that Final Maze follows the same rules as Zero Isle. I want to double check it quick. Just, regardless, the point stands. They are the hardest dungeons in the game. Be careful. Be very, very, very careful. Yep. You're not allowed to take foreign items into that dungeon. I at least want to show it off, so I'm gonna deposit everything quick. And at that, I also have 2 boxes to open. And a lot of cash that I should probably store too. Alright, so what's in this cute box? not so cute Ivy Claw. And in the dainty box, a Bonsly card. That's kind of lame. Actually, I think there's a way I could store... Yep, there's a way I could store everything. Yep, all devoid. Drop off my cash, and let's see what this final maze has to offer, shall we? Ah, crap. Come on. Hit the right button, me. So begins the final maze. Seems like your level isn't reset here. That's good to know! That did half of my health. Full blunt? I haven't explored the final maze. At all. I'm going into this kinda blind. So in other words, good luck me. A little shroomish. How are you going to ruin me? You're not. Good. Yeah, there is one other thing I do need to bring up. And that's something specific that can happen while you're dungeoneering from now on. It's fairly uncommon when it does happen in the main story, if ever. But within the extra story, and especially within Zero Isle, there is a chance for enemy Pokemon to fight one another. When they do, be careful. Because if an enemy Pokemon defeats an enemy Pokemon, they will, if possible, evolve. What's up, Monty? Let's try Flamethrower. That should take care of it. Or not. Better. Okay, nothing important to own that way, so I don't need to worry about that. Don't worry, Monty! I finished the line work just before I started streaming. It won't take too much time to color, probably an hour at the worst. I may be able to finish it tonight, we'll see, but at least for right now, I want to say I'm maybe like 70, is it 60 to 70% done? For me at least, line work tends to be one of the more tedious parts of the drawing process. I'll let you know when I'm finished with it, okay? It shouldn't be too much longer. Don't worry. If I'm not able to finish it tonight, then I'll have it for you by by noon tomorrow, my time. Simple. Blast Seed, not bad, not bad. Heal Seed.
I think I'm good. Going on to the next floor. See Trap Orb. This is a new item. When used for a single floor, it makes all traps on the floor visible. If you're ever not confident about what you might find on a dungeon, this would be the orb to use. And again, on reminder, from here on out, harder dungeons are going to have traps within them, so it may be a good idea, if possible, to grind up a bunch of sea trap orbs. Just in case. Dungeoneering 101. Your bag is your best friend. And if you don't have a well-stocked bag, then it's going to be all that much harder to do your dungeoneering. It's like when you go spelunking. You gotta have your essentials in your bag. Some trail mix, a few tools, just in case for, like, digging through rock or otherwise, so you could see. Some way to mark your paths, potentially. At the end of the day, exploration teams are kind of like spelunkers in that respect. Only mercenary spelunkers. Yeah, since this particular run of Final Maze seems to be going at least somewhat decently, I figure do one run of this, maybe attempt one of the parts of Zero Isle, then get started with the special missions. Because again, the special missions all have their own mini storylines that each take up anywhere from an hour to a couple hours. And if I remember correctly, each and every one of the special missions also gets harder as you go along. So 1 is the easiest, and 5 is the hardest. They are dedicated campaigns where you have to work with specific set Pokemon, specific set item encounters. You cannot recruit allies. So, in kind of in a way, think of it like... Shoot, what was that campaign within XCOM 2? Might have been a few different campaigns in there, just... I remember there are a couple of different campaigns that you could do within XCOM 2, which were a short dedicated story that you is full of several maps that you had to go through to get to the end of it, and you weren't allowed to change your equipment. You had to work with specific set party members, maybe a little bit of a tweak here and there to those party members as you went along. They were fairly difficult missions that I've heard. I think it was also introduced... I think it was specifically introduced within Shen's Last Gift. I can't remember. I'm not having much luck finding apples. Maybe they're not as common in this dungeon. That's a worry. To which, I might want to consider eating blinker seeds of all things. Sorry about the moments where the screen's just gonna go dark, because blinker seed. Ooh, I'm down 2 moves. And the rest are kinda pants. Actually, thinking about it. Immediate damage. Good donk. Ooh, box. Oh, good, an apple.
Another seed. Blast seed. Perfect. That'll refund the one I just used. Spinnerack, Magby. I could wait. Alternatively, I could use a vacuum cut. Shift them both down a little bit. Damn, Nightshade hurts. Level 45. So yeah, that should give you a perspective on how tough these enemies are. A level 45 Spinnerack. That should say a lot, actually. This is very much one of the final dungeons of the game. It starts hard. Just gets harder. You know what? Stun you. I shouldn't have done that. I should have backed up. That's my fault. That's a big mistake on my part. Ugh, couldn't get through. Well, didn't I say? You can only blame yourself for going to a place that awful. You should learn from that. Never go back there. About that. Again, standard rules of Mystery Dungeon apply, so if you perish, you lose some of your items, not all of them. If you want some of the harder to get TMs in the game, Final Maze might be a place to go to get them. And if not, then just the sheer bulk of items that you could get from their period might be good enough to get you a bunch of cash. Just a thought. Something to consider. Don't really use Focus Miss, so let's scrap that. And considering opening boxes is 150 poke a piece, I think we should be good to just open these. Weavile Claw. And a Blastoise card. Heal Seed, Transfer Orb. Let's store the Transfer Orb at least. Not sure if the shop had anything worth buying. A Reviver Seed. But we are going to be heading into Zero Isle, so... I don't think that's necessary. I will at least try to juice the Heal Seed, because humor. And if it happens to crit, then that's a little bit of IQ that will specifically go to this Pokemon, so that might be useful. No crit. Just a basic drink. Nothing else. That's a shame. But hey. Okay. Zero motherfucking Isle. I believe South was the easiest of them. But we can still check the restrictions if you attempt to go into it. All the money and every item in your treasure bag is lost. Only the leader may enter. Your level is set to 1, temporarily. That was Zero Isle South. Zero Isle West. Every item in the bag is lost. All party members you bring with you will be at level 1. There are no restrictions on the party members you can bring in. Zero Isle East. Items from the 17th slot and beyond in the treasure bag are lost. And all party members are reduced to level 1. There are no restrictions on the Pokemon you could bring. And lastly, Zero Isle North. You will not earn experience from any Pokemon you defeat in this dungeon. If I remember correctly, each version of Zero Isle, North, South, East, and West specifically rather, go as far as 50 floors. There is a 5th Zero Isle, if I remember correctly, Zero Isle Central, and that one goes up to 99. Again, so I could show just how severe the weight of Zero Isle is, we're gonna go as hard as possible. Actually, no, maybe not as hard as possible. Specifically Zero Isle West, I believe. And appropriately, music starts out tense, don't it? So when the game says that you're starting at level 1, you are starting at level 1. Hope you got used to all of that power that you had at the start of the game, because Zero Isle is a very closed-off experience. However, there are very specific items you can only find within Zero Isle. As an example, the Citrus Berry. Not only will the Citrus Berry max out the Pokemon's HP, but if they're at max HP, it will permanently boost their max HP for the dungeon. If you find a bunch of Citrus Berries, eat them. Just for that extra max HP. 2 at a time doesn't seem like a lot, but it adds up over time. Sure, it's 2 now, but if you find a bunch of them, it will go up to 4, 6, 8, 12, and it can outright decide single attacks. At that, one of the biggest pieces of advice I can give if you're deciding to jump into Zero Isle, make sure to grind. Sure, you do effectively have a time limit in terms of your belly and your moves and everything, but provided you're at least trying to fight any enemy that you're right next to, you should be, for the most part, fine. You should be leveling up, and most importantly, you'll be gaining new moves. At that, manage your party. If you as the leader are running out of power on moves and can't reasonably fight, switch off with your partner. You can either do this by changing places with them, which will consume a movement action, or if you're within larger rooms, it is a better option can't do it here. Damn. Like, there's a specific way that you could change the leader within a dungeon. One-shot orb. Nice. Let's head this way. Every floor or so of Zero Isle will have slightly different music, all reminiscent to dungeons that you've experienced previously. Sometimes, the environment and the Pokemon that spawn will change too. Couple level ups. Jeez, already 5. A Shockwave TM. This is also another important thing to mention. If I remember correctly, the moves and everything that you learn within the dungeon stay for the dungeon run only. This does mean that some TMs are going to be absolutely worthless to you.
But hey. Let's give Ciliana some permanent special defense for the dungeon. An apple. Cast forms. An Inkata. I don't... I mean, I do have sticks. Might as well set that. Huck one. Can I get a move, please, game? I've been a good little mon, haven't I? A Mex Elixir. How in the hell did you get here? Yeah, as it turns out, this is one of the better places you can find Kecleon shops. I mean, it makes sense, considering you're going to be finding a lot of TMs and other things that are worth a lot of cash anyway. You might as well take advantage of it. Don't really use Captivate, so I can place that down. And right off the bat, 500 Poke. A no-aim scope. Causes items thrown by the Pokemon to fly wildly in any direction? So if you want it to be a complete misser, I guess that's how you do it. Okay. I'll take both of those, I think. Because those are going to be fairly cheap. Let's handle with that. Pick up that other apple. Due to the length of this specific dungeon, it is a very good idea to keep a whole bunch of food items with you, if you can. Oh, it's a curve band. I forget what the curve band does, actually, so I'll probably have to take a look at that. Yay! Learned a new move. Ember, finally. So that means I could deal with an Inkata a little more easily than usual. Another Max Elixir, always nice. And let's check that curve band. Makes thrown items curve. Will bounce off the walls and fly sideways along them. It has no effect if the Pokemon has a Pierce status or if they throw a rock. I might as well. Considering I've been using thrown items! Of course. Where did you come from? He just appeared there! Mystery dungeon logic, ladies and gentlemen. Enemies just kinda appear. Even if you're sitting still in a room. Ciliana's got Sand Attack, that's gonna be handy. Oh. No thanks! I'd rather not be sandwiched by two Pokemon that could easily end me in a heartbeat. Just a thought. Although, this isn't that much greater a situation to be in. I could at least growl, weaken them. Come on, Cubone. Thank you. Ice Beam! A move that unfortunately we can't learn. That's a shame. Actually, none of these moves I can learn.
Okay, it only affected Growl. I think we're good. One of the more dangerous traps of the game. That isn't a P down here sign. That is a PowerPoint 0 trap. It does as you think. Selects a random move that the Pokemon knows, and drops its power points to 0. Why did I hit the wrong combination of buttons? I meant to hit this! Just so I could murk them. Regardless, the trap that was just there. Really, really dangerous trap. Be careful. Similarly, the one-room orb. You know how some people complain about the one ring to rule them all? This is the one orb to rule them all. Because it effectively reduces the entire dungeon to a single room. If you wanted to call to every single enemy in the dungeon, "Hey, I'm over here! Murder me!" This is how you do it. It will break every single wall within the dungeon to make one giant room. If you have moves like, say, Heat Wave or Vacuum Cut, it does make for really easy grinding. But more often than not, and let's face it, it's gonna be more often than not, you're not gonna have those moves. Like now. So it's a really bad idea to use that. Focus Miss. Actually, no, wait, Focus Punch isn't that. Oh, no, wait, Focus Punch is trash, because you gotta make sure that no one's gonna hit you. I think. I have to double check that move. What do we got here? Enter Focus Punch status. Causes the user to charge power for a turn, then a powerful attack. You cannot link this move. Okay, so it's essentially a 2-turn attack. It doesn't sound useful. My eternal nemesis. My eternal nemesis. Chestnut traps. It sounds hilariously stupid, but chestnut traps. If anything, they're a mild inconvenience. They're one of the most common traps in the game. What they specifically do is rain chestnuts down on your head. It sounds innocuous. Chestnuts hurt. Have you ever had a sharp, pointy object fall directly on your head? Yeah, imagine like 12 of them. If I remember correctly, it deals either a fixed 15 to 25 damage to the target, or otherwise a percentage of their health. I don't fully remember. Regardless, again, they're one of the most common traps in the game. They're fucking everywhere, in Zero Isle especially. And they suck. Specifically because of the fact that they make you panic. Munch Belt. Yeah, that doesn't sound great. Bolsters your physical stats, but will also make you hungrier. Not a good idea. Oh, hey, another shop. Cool. So in that case, let's do some inventory management. That should do for those. Guess a whole bunch of cash. Get an Oranberry. Sticks might be useful. I'll at least check the rest of the shop inventory. All Mock Orb is going to be very useful. Weather Band. When worn, allows you to ignore weather. Yeah, I think I'm going to take Totter Orb, All Mock, the Sticks, and the Luminous Orb.
they're all items we've gone over, so I don't really need to interview them, I guess. Ooh, grimy food. Actually, that's another thing I need to mention. Within the Zero Isles, IQ skills are also reset. You will need to earn them back within the dungeon, specifically. But don't worry. If I remember correctly, within these dungeons, either you don't need to worry about certain IQ skills all that much, if at all, or otherwise, gummies will make you smarter faster. Oh, you've gotta be kidding me! Magnitude 9! Come on! That guy just snuck up on me. What was I supposed to do about that? Thanks, game! Literally just ran headlong into trouble. Thanks. But hey, we did lose in the dungeon, but we do get to keep some of those items. Again, it's actually kind of a good idea to grind up items in Zero Isle, for that reason. Let's see here. Items to stock. Probably a max elixir, TMs. The one room orb. Oh shoot, the key that we had was also deleted. Damn, I don't get to explain those. Essentially, within some of the higher ranked dungeons, you may find a key. If you can hold onto that key, then somewhere within the dungeon will also be a locked door. Use the key on the locked door, you can get a whole bunch of super rare items, and even Pokemon eggs in them. Yes, you can find Pokemon eggs in dungeons. I didn't misspeak. Ooh, I get to keep some of my money, too. Yay. Okay, so... yeah, I think it's about time that we tackle those special episodes. So, just in case, we're gonna save again. And let's see if I can remember the quick reset. I believe it was LR start select?